that if Kawhi Leonard is available, that the Detroit Pistons would be interested in trading for him. Now, obviously, the Clippers probably don't want to rebuild because go look who has their picks. You guys could probably take a guess who has the Clippers picks. It's the OKC Thunder. But if in some event that the Clippers decide to move on from Kawhi, do you think the Pistons should make a call to see what it could take?
Definitely make the call to see what it can take because I believe Kawhi Leonard, when you look at some of the older players in the league that have that star potential, I believe he's one of the ones that's still transformative and impactful. I know people talk about, load management during the regular season, but I still believe, as long as you get this guy for the most important parts of the regular season, then you are good to go. Just period. We saw this started with the Toronto Raptors. And again, you're changing up the way defenses can't even attack you. You can't pack the paint against Jalen Duren with a team that has a Cade Cunningham and a Kawhi Leonard on it. You just can't do it. And so that's something where, I'm looking at. Apologies. That's something where I'm looking at, a situation where if just a Cade Cunningham and a Kawhi Leonard, you're looking to keep, one or two of your other young drafted players in Ausar Thompson and Jalen Duren. And obviously, I don't know what the deal would take. I don't know what, the Clippers are looking for in return because you're right. They're not looking to just take back junk, and they are not looking to kind of rebuild or start over from scratch. You got the new arena out there and things of that nature. So that's one where I begin to shudder a little bit about what a deal looks like if you bring in a Kawhi Leonard. Are they just sitting there looking like, yeah, and Ausar Thompson looks pretty good too. Is that something that they're doing and asking in return? So that's one that actually I balk at way more than the Kyrie Irving deal. I like Kawhi way more, but what does it take to get that deal done?
I mean, there's one more year in his contract, which is $50 million. So it essentially, if you do trade for him, it could be a 1-year rental. He could get bounced, kind of like how he signed with Toronto and then he just went to the Clippers. I know someone had just mentioned that Steve Ballmer just built an incredible arena out in California and he just lost James Harden. I wouldn't say he just lost James Harden. The Clippers were just too cheap to give him an extension. They didn't want to give him an extension. Personally, when Darius Garland is healthy, because he wasn't healthy this year, I kind of like Darius Garland long-term versus a James Harden, even though it sounds like he might take a discount in Cleveland. But kind of circling back to Kawhi, I think it will be pretty pricey to try to pry him away from the Clips. If I'm the Pistons, all I'm asking is we're not talking about Cade Cunningham for Kawhi, and we're not mentioning Ausar Thompson for Kawhi. Take your pick. Take your pick. You can have anybody you want. Draft picks are available as well. And I know some people might crash out over that, but
you said you're only protecting Cade and Ausar?
That's it. That's it for me.
No,
that's it.
That's it. Nobody's favorite center?
No, that's it.
Ooh.
That's me. Like Cade and Ausar to me, I think are two building blocks that you can build around. Everyone else, I think at least we can get to a conversation and that has a price. That's what I would tell the Clippers if I was running the team. Like, take your pick and we can have a conversation and see if you're just like bat crazy and I'm not making that trade or whatever it may be. But
I feel like that would get it done if you got old boy on the block. If you said, "Hey, look, we would allow one of our coveted to be available," and that the only way that happens is if the Pistons just don't, hey, look, Duren, we're happy to give you this money for this year. It matches up perfectly with the 1 year of what's the name of Kawhi. They have this, beautiful stadium out there. I got to go out there during the All-Star weekend. That stadium is amazing. And maybe they want to be able to have a young star, one of the young all-stars of the league who just played his all-star game out there. You know what I mean? Maybe they want to have him out there. That's the only scenario that I see it working as, which makes it interesting, man, that you say things like that. Yeah, I thought that when I hear people talk about who's protected on the team, I still hear Jalen Duren as one of those protected. So it is interesting to hear you say it, but I think it makes sense because it's in the realm of reality. It takes something to get something. And that's the one component here that we have to honestly take when you're going into off season, the draft, the free agency, the moves we want to see our team make. It's always going to, if you want to be able to bring in that star, I feel like it's going to cost us at least a minimum of one or two of these young players that we have fallen in love with as fans, observers, media, or whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, like that's where I'm at. Like, if I'm able to keep two of my best players and still come away with an all-star, a guy that averaged almost 28 points a game, I single-handedly watched this man torch a star for 55 points and made it look easy. And I know he's like the poster child for load management. I know he's had seasons where he hasn't played any more than like 50 games. I think he played 37 games a few years ago. But I mean, if you know that you can get Kawhi Leonard in a starting lineup with the star Thompson, good luck, Eastern Conference. Good luck.
That dog, I just kept sitting here thinking, like, man, what lineup do you even run? Do you just go understanding how Cade Cunningham can play the point? At that point in time, are you just running like a little perimeter of Cade Cunningham, Kawhi, and then you can afford to, probably bring back a Tobias and Jalen Duren. That's a pretty crazy lineup to me. Well, in this scenario, you probably don't have Jalen Duren there, so you do got to figure out your center spot. I guess that's where if you're in a position to keep that 21st pick, which I don't think they would be able to. So you're right. Goodness gracious, on paper or just kind of in a quick thought, it sounds good, but it's expensive. It's going to be expensive to pull off something like that, especially when you consider the fact that they're not looking at just if you're trading Kawhi on the last year of his deal, you're looking to get something back for him because you could just play that out if you wanted to otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, like that's kind of where I'm at. Like in terms of we talk about big picture, we're talking about big fish. Like to me, I know people maybe have like crazy eyes, like you wouldn't protect Duren. I like Jalen Duren. I think being 22, I could totally see him developing a mid-range jump shot. I could totally see him getting better as a basketball player on the offensive end. I think what he is defensively is what he is defensively. I don't think there's going to be any type of progression of him being like a defensive player of the year candidate. I just don't. I think he'll be a average to below average defender at best. And that's okay. Some centers are just more offensive. I think Jalen Duren is more of an offensive center. But I mean, if you're telling me I could be in conversations with possibly like a Jamal Murray, a Kawhi Leonard, a Trey Murphy, like, yeah, like we can have conversations. We'll see like what the package is. And that's just me taking my Pistons fan hat off and just being objective. Because I think Duren is a very talented young player, but he's still unpolished. He still needs development. So
and you see the way deals are made in the NBA. We'll be realistic. That is the way they're made in the NBA. You don't see trades. And you're like, oh, there's a nobody for a whole bunch of somebodies. Like it just doesn't work that way. You're usually like, yo, look at all these names on both sides of it. Even if you think someone got fleeced, there's still names, like real names, good names on both, or at least engaging names on both sides of it. And that's where you're right. When you start talking about what a swing looks like for the Pistons, you got to be prepared for one of these players that we once thought, we thought, oh, we got a core four. How? like seriously, a drafted core four, unless all these players turn out like superstars, stars to superstars, like OKC, how?
Yeah.
And even them, they can't really afford to hold on to them draft picks, man. Like, how are they going to pay for these guys and give what? You got cap holds of what, a 40 million a piece for Chet and J Will. So
yeah,
it's like you're coming up in a situation. It's gonna put that type of pressure on you if you're the Pistons.
Yeah, like I said, it'll be interesting. Like, do I honestly think the Detroit Pistons are going to come away with Kawhi Leonard this offseason? I don't, but it's an offseason topic. Wanted to get the blood boiling a little bit. I'm sure a lot of people got the pitchforks and thumbs down on this video because I said Kawhi Leonard, but it's okay, man. I forgive you. I love you guys.